13, and the last time we were looking at Mark chapter 13 and verse 11, and we saw that Jesus had said towards the end times many things would happen, and one of the things would be that those who would follow Christ would be led by the authorities. If we saw in our reading this morning, would be led into the synagogues, into the councils, they would be beaten, they would be persecuted, and they would be killed. And we saw when we looked at what it was to be led, we saw the children of Israel, how different things led. Moses was the leader, but there was many things that led them. Things were led by fear, by disappointment. And we saw that we too can be led by many emotions, by many circumstances. And then we looked at Samson, and we saw that he was a leader, but he could have been a greater leader than he turned out to be. And we took the word led, LED. We saw that Samson was led by light. We saw on many occasions the Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson. And when that happened, Samson done great things for the Lord. And we saw that we live in a dark world, and we must be led by the light. Jesus is the light of the world. And if we are to make it through this, day, and to make it through our lives serving God, we must walk in the light, we must follow the light. We need the light to light the way. Without the light, we're just in darkness, and we're trying to make our way. But we saw that for Samson, that unfortunately he wasn't always led by the light. At times that he was for everything. Samson was led by everything at times. Other things, he was led by his own desires. And when that happened, very often he found himself in problems. He found himself in situations he shouldn't have been in. Situations that led to more problems. And we saw that when we take our eyes off the Lord, when we don't allow the Lord to lead us, when we make our own choices, we make our own decisions, very often we find ourselves in problems and difficulties and in places where we look and think, how did we end up here? And then the day was for death. Samson would be led to his death. Because he didn't walk in the light, he would eventually lose his eyesight. He would lose his eyesight, he would be eventually taken and bound in prison. And we saw that spiritually, we can, if we're led by everything, if we're led by the things of the world, by other things, then we will be led into a spiritual death. Where we find ourselves in situations where we're no longer praising God, we're no longer serving God, we're just going through the motions. So that we need to keep our eyes upon the Lord. Look to the Lord this morning, walk in the light. The word of God is a light unto our path, and that's what we must follow this day. And as that verse goes on in Mark 13 and 11, but when they shall lead you and deliver you up, and it's the delivering that we're going to look at this morning. There's many things that are delivered. The purpose of them leading them was to deliver them to a place where they would be questioned, a place where they would be persecuted, perhaps led and delivered to their death. And we see that if you follow someone, you follow them with a purpose of arriving at a destination. That's the purpose. If you follow someone, you hope that they're going to lead you and finally deliver you to the place you want to be. If you're in a car and someone says, follow me, then you hope that when they arrive, this is where you want to be. This is why you've been following them. And we saw that the importance of what we follow will determine where we will eventually arrive at. If we're led by fear, then we will arrive in a place where we're just fearful. If we're led by disappointment, it will ultimately deliver us to a place of disappointment. Where else could it take us? That's what we're following. If we're following the Lord this morning, if we follow the Lord, then the Lord will lead us and deliver us to a place of blessing. It may be a difficult journey. There might be many problems along the way, but if we follow the Lord, then He will finally deliver us. We know one day we will be delivered in heaven. We'll arrive in glory. And that's why we follow the Lord this morning. That's why we're here this morning, to follow what the Lord has for us in our lives. And we know that can be difficulties. There can be problems, there can be dark valleys. But if we keep our eyes upon the Lord, He will eventually arrive and be delivered in a place of blessing. When you post a letter, I don't know how often you write letters nowadays. There's so many different ways to communicate, through messages, through social media. But if you write a letter, you put a stamp on that letter and you post it, and you expect it will be delivered at the address where you've posted it for. You know, that letter goes on quite a journey. From you drop it into the box, eventually the postman will come, we'll open the box, we'll put it in a bag, get put in a van, it will be driven to the depot, where it will be poured down with hundreds of letters and parcels, and the machine will sort them into different sizes, and then another machine will flip them over so they're all facing the right way up with that stamp. And another machine will read them, and it can take a picture, it can work out the address, and from that it puts them to the correct area codes, and they'll all get piled up in those different pigeonholes, and then they'll be taken from that, put in another bag, put in a van, sent in a lorry, perhaps a train and a plane. They'll travel all that distance, they'll arrive somewhere else, a depot closer to where you want it. They'll be taken, they'll be sorted, they'll be put into order, and then a postman will take that letter and put it through the door that you've sent it to. And that letter will go on that journey. What facilitates it is the stamp on the letter. The stamp says that it can go, that it's been paid for, and that's why it will arrive at the destination. And you know, we see this morning, do we have the stamp? Do we have the seal of God upon our lives? Do we have the seal of the blood? Because without that, you know, we'll never arrive. We'll never be in heaven. Without the blood, without the precious blood of the Lord Jesus Christ being upon your life, you know, you can write the address out in that letter. If you don't stamp it, then it's not going to go. It's not going to get to the destination. And you can be in church this morning. You can believe the Bible. If you have not saved this morning, if you don't have the stamp of God upon your life, if you don't know the blood that's been shed for your sins, then it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how well you live your life. It needs that stamp. And you need to know this morning, are you saved? You know, you can say, well, I come to church, I've been brought up in church, I've been coming to church for all these years. But if you don't have the precious blood, if you're not sealed with His blood this morning, then you won't arrive in heaven. That won't be your final destination. And we see the importance of knowing, are you saved? Is this real in your life? We're going to look at 6 points this morning of messages. We see that message that you send, it gets sent in the post and it's finally delivered. We'll look at messages delivered, messages delayed, messages dismissed, messages distorted, messages displayed, messages discerned. You know, in this first point of messages delivered, you know, sometimes messages are not always written down and posted through your post. Sometimes messages are passed on by word of mouth. Can you tell somebody this message? And as I say, sometimes messages are like this information must be passed on. You know, in hospitals, there'll be messages that have to be relayed about a patient. This needs to be passed on. You need to know this about this patient. You know, sometimes messages are just quite simply, oh, if you see such and such, will you tell them that dinner's ready? It's in the kitchen. You know, and messages can be really important. There can be messages that you are desperately waiting to hear. Desperately waiting for that message. There's other things that you hear and you think, how did they tell me that? That means nothing to me. You know, but we see today, as I said, there's so many ways that we can receive messages. You know, on your phone, you send a text message. Social media, you can instant message people, and you can send in a message, they can send you messages back. You know, some people now don't even talk to them, they just message each other. You know, what's important with a message is that when you get the message, that it's the correct information. That the message that you receive is the message that was intended for you to hear. So if you get the wrong message, then it can be a big impact. It can have, as I say, depending on how important the message is to you, will determine how important it needs to be correct. So if you get information in the message and it's wrong, then that can have a dramatic impact on what you do and what you do next. You know, the word of God says, if the trumpet gives an uncertain sound, what will the people do? You know, in the battle, there was different sounds. The trumpet would blow certain sounds to attack to hold the ground, to retreat. You know, if it was unclear what it was supposed to do, did that sound to you like we should attack? And all the time they were meant to retreat, that's a big impact. And we see that when we hear a message or when we deliver a message, you want to know that the person who's giving you it has got it right. You want to know that they believe the message themselves. You know, somebody comes to you and says, oh, something important to tell you. Somebody told me, need to pass this message on. Now, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I'll remember what it is. Hold on. It was something about, oh, do you know what? I think they said, the flight, you've got to get the flight and you've got to be at gate. It was fine. You need to be there, you need to be at a certain time. You hear that message, you think, I don't know if that's the right message. What do you do with that information now? Because you've heard the message, you think, I don't think they've got that right. Do I go at that time to that gate, or do I still? Now you don't know what to do because you've been given a message, but you think that person doesn't know the message. They've got some part of the message, but that doesn't sound to me that it's something I'm going to believe in. You know, that's so important with the message. The person who gives the message believes the message. When somebody says to you, fear not, you know, their knees are knocking together. You're thinking, well, they don't believe this message because they're full of fear this morning. If somebody says, listen, don't trust God, but you can tell by the way they say it, they don't really believe what they're saying. Sometimes, you see sometimes politically, people who deliver things, we think they don't believe that. They're saying that, but they don't actually believe that's going to happen. They've just been sent out with a message to read the message. You can tell they're reading it. It's not something that they wholeheartedly believe. They're just having to give the message. You know, that's the difference, and that's the importance. Though, that when we hear God's message, that we know it's from God. When God speaks to us, we know this is what God wants me to do. This is what God has for me to do. You know, it's not a message where you think, I don't really know if I don't know if God wants me to do this or to do that. But God's word is sure. God's word is certain. When God gives you a message, there's no doubt about it. When God gives you a message, this is the word of God. And when you read God's word, and when God speaks to you on your life, you know this is a sure message. This is not something that, does God really mean that? Does God really want me to do that? If God speaks to you, and you know God is giving you a message for your life, when God has spoken to you, you know that is the message that God has given. You know, it's always good when you get a message from God. You know, for those of us who speak, you know, it's good when you think this is God's message that God has given me to deliver. You know, what's clear is that it is God's message. You know, it's not about the person who delivers the message. It's about God. It's about the message that God has given. Of course, there's a tremendous privilege and a blessing to receive the message and to be able to give that message. But we see that, you know, it's not the person who gives it. Because we know, we look at the word of God, we look over, we can turn it up, but Numbers chapter 22, we see that God gave a donkey the message. Balaam's asked to deliver the message to Balaam. And God can use anyone. You know, Jesus even said, if the children wouldn't cry out, the stones would cry out. God will get his message delivered. You know, even if the person doesn't want to deliver the message, God will make sure that message goes forth. You know, we think of Jonah. Jonah had the message, but Jonah didn't want to deliver the message. Jonah thought, there is no way I'm taking that message to the people of Nineveh. But you know, God had a purpose, and God had a plan, and that message would arrive to the people of Nineveh. And we see that God, if God has a message for you, then nothing will stop the message of God. Nothing will stop the message from arriving to you. You know, we have been given a great message. We've been given the good news of the gospel. And it's a message that we've all been given. Go into all the world and preach the gospel. And that's for us all. That's for us on an individual basis. For the people in our school, the people we work beside, the people we meet. We've been given that commission to share the message, to deliver the message that people need to repent of their sins, but that Jesus Christ is the way of salvation. the greatest message. We might not be the greatest messengers, but we have the greatest message to give. And the Lord says, go in and share that message, deliver that message. Though sometimes, as we see in the Word of God, God's people were given the message. And sometimes it was a message of great joy. It was a message of deliverance. And I'm sure the person who was given that message was delighted to tell the people, God is saying that we're going to be delivered. When Moses said, God has said that we're going to be freed from Egypt, God has spoken to me, that was the message that he had been given to deliver. You know, but sometimes God's people were given a message of judgment, that God was not happy. There were times Moses would deliver the message to the people that God was angry. You will look at Moses. Noah delivered the message, God's message, but it wasn't a message. It must have been an easy message to bring, but it still was God's message. I know you may have the message, but not everybody hears the message the same way. Some people rejoice in the message, other people don't want the message. Some people don't believe the message. We think of Zacharias, when the angel came and said, you and your wife will have a child, he couldn't believe. Even though it was an angel that was delivering the message, he couldn't believe the message. And we live in a day when God's message is not popular. It's not well received. You know, people don't want to hear about sin or repentance or hell or the consequences of the life that we live. They don't want that. So the message is not well received. It's still the same message. Nothing has changed about God's message. Just because the day's changed and people's thoughts have changed, it hasn't changed the fact that God's word is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And sin is still sin. And people don't like to hear these things. They don't want to be told that the life they live isn't right before God. But the message is still the same. And the message still has to be delivered. Because people need to hear. They need to repent. And they need to hear there's a way of salvation. That Jesus is that way. And that's the good news. That's the good news that Jesus Christ came into this world to save sinners. Sometimes the message can be delayed. There are times when God's message is delayed, and there could be different reasons and different circumstances why the message is delayed. You know, we think when Michael was coming, he had been delayed. He was delayed in that battle. You know, at times Paul had a message for the churches, but he was held back at different times, held him back from bringing them and delivering the message. There was a delay in the message. You know, sometimes there can be many factors in why a message is held up, why there's a hold up with the message. But we must be careful that we're never the reason why the message is held up, why the message has been delayed. You know, as we saw that with the message for the people of Nineveh, there was a hold up, there was a delay, because Jonah didn't want the message. Jonah knew the message, he knew it was God's message, he knew the time to deliver the message, but he wasn't prepared to take that message. And, you know, for those days when Jonah ran and jumped on the boat, it was 3 days and nights in the fishing field, that was a delay to the message. You know, we see that message went. God's message will always go forth, even when we delay the message. He won't stop the message going forth. I know Jonah, why did he not want to take the message? You know, we've seen it many times. There was many reasons why. You know, God could come to us and say, deliver this message. Go to that person and tell them God wants them back in the church. And you think, well, I don't want them back in the church. But God says, go to that person and tell them to come back. Go to this person and share something. You think, there must be a mistake. There must be a mistake. That can't be the message. You have to look at Acts chapter 9. In Acts chapter 9, we see the story of Saul of Tarsus. Saul of Tarsus was a persecutor of the church. His whole life was to persecute these Christians, to find them, to bring them into prison, and to persecute. And that was what he did. He felt he was doing the will of God. But you know, on that Damascus road, God had a dealing with Saul, and God spoke to him. But we see in Acts chapter 9, in verse 10, Acts 9, verse 10, And there was a certain disciple named Ananias, and to him said the Lord in the vision, Ananias, and he said, Behold, I am here, Lord. And the Lord answered, the Lord said unto him, Arise, go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one Saul of Tarsus, for behold he prayeth. And I have seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in and putting his hand at him, that he might receive his sight. And Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard many things of this man, how much evil he hath done to the saints in Jerusalem. And here he hath authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on thy name. And the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles, and kindness to the children of Israel. When Ananias heard this message, he thought, surely not Saul of Tarsus. Of all the people that it could be, it can't be this man. But God had a plan, and that was the message from God. And Ananias would go, and he would go and he would meet Brother Saul. And sometimes God will give us a message, and we might think, I'm delaying that message. I don't want the message. Give the message to somebody else. Change the message. God's word is God's word, and God's message is God's message. Sometimes the delay in the message is because we're not ready for the message. Very often our pastor would say, there's things I'd like to share with you, but you're not ready for. Just I think it was last Sunday morning, our brother Robert was preaching. He said, there's things I could share, but I'm not able to share them with you yet. There's a delay, and sometimes we are not ready for the message. We look at the disciples, and there was many things that Jesus had that he couldn't give them. Couldn't give them at that time because they weren't ready. They weren't ready to understand them, even at times when he did tell them, especially when he spoke of his death and resurrection. They simply just didn't understand. They couldn't understand. I'll just read this. We'll look at in verse 34. And Jesus explained all about his death and his resurrection. In 34 it says, and they understood none of these things, for the sayings were hid for them, neither knew he the things which were spoken. At times Jesus had to delay things because they just couldn't understand it. They couldn't take it in. Sometimes that's the thing that holds the message up. Sometimes we need to think, does this message need to be delivered right now? Sometimes some people can't hold on to the information that they're given. You say, listen, there's a surprise party. Don't tell anybody about the party. It's a surprise, okay. And then the first person we go, are you going to the surprise party? And then we'll go to the party. Oh, that's right, I was ready to tell you. Sometimes there's good reason for delaying the message. Some people, as soon as they know it, they just tell it. You think, if you tell them, like they'll never keep this. There's no way they can hold on to this information. They will tell. They'll say to the person, I'm coming to the party. What part? Oh, this, you don't know about the party, right? You don't know about it. And that happens. Sometimes it happens with children, sometimes people never grow out of that, and they still do it. Sometimes we need to ask ourselves, do we need to give that message right now? Something that's happening, I'm sure it's definitely unintentional, but before the communion service at times, there's a lot of whispering, a lot of talking at times goes on, and the lead up to the communion service. We get to like 10 to 6, 5 to 6, and still people are delivering some message. If that message is something that cannot wait and has to be told before the communion starts, then that's fair enough. But we need to think, can we delay that message? Can that wait until the end of the communion when there's time to speak before the meeting? We need to say sometimes we need to, the person sitting next to us, they need to hear what we're going to tell them. Can that wait? As I say, once we get to about 10 to 6, the community's ready to start, people ready themselves. And maybe at that time we need to delay the message. We need to think it's getting too close to the start of the meeting to have to give that message. Just on that particular subject, somebody had spoken to me also about the prayer times as well. Sometimes when people are praying, we need to wait before we go out or before we come back in. And I know and I understand at times there's people who have medical conditions and they need to get out, and I wouldn't say to anybody, Or if somebody's praying, you just have to wait. If you need to go, you need to go. And I understand that can be times we think, I'll just get up when this person starts to pray. And the next thing you know, they're praying for the Olympics in 10, 15 minutes of class, you think, I should have gone. I should have got up before that prayer starts. So there's some times when there's no choice, but you have to go out. And the same coming back, and if you can't stand, you need to get a seat. But where we can, it's one of those things that we always had in science where if somebody's praying, you wait till they're finished and then you get up and come in. So it's just something, again, to be remembered. But sometimes the message can be dismissed, and maybe you're thinking, I'll just dismiss that last bit there, that's nothing to do with me. But sometimes you can have the best message, and you can have the right time to deliver that message, where the message is still dismissed by the people who hear it. You give the message and somebody thinks, I don't really care. I don't really care. I've heard that, but you know what? I'm going to disregard that. You know, we think of Noah. And Noah had the message from God. Noah had a message of tremendous judgment. Not one person outside of Noah's family believed what he had to say. Not one person changed their ways. Even although he told them this was from God and God was angry and judgment would come and he would see Noah building the ark, not one other person other than his family responded to that message. And you know, sometimes when you are witnessing to people in the open air or you're personally witnessing, you're giving out tracts, and the first person says no to the tract, the next person doesn't even acknowledge it. The person who takes the tract, you see them putting it in the bin for it, it can be discouraging at times. It can be discouraging when you're witnessing and nobody seems to be listening. Sometimes on a Saturday night in the open air, you can see people and they're just disinterested. They continue looking at their phone, they continue talking, they don't look, it's not even that they shout out, they're not even, they seem uninterested in the message. And it can be discouraging at times. And on a personal basis as well, you can be speaking to people and they don't seem to want to hear maybe neighbours, their family, and they just don't tell me. I've heard it before, and you can feel discouraged. Never give up. Never give up, because you have been given the most wonderful message. The most wonderful message to deliver. You know, Jesus was the message. He was the message. He came with the most wonderful message. You know, there was those who never received it, who heard it and saw it, but rejected it and dismissed everything that he said. They saw the miracles, they saw the signs and wonders, and they said, cast out devil by the principle of devils. You know, they just would not accept it. You know, praise God, many saw it with joy, received it because they saw who he was and they saw the message. But, you know, we see at times we can be discouraged. Discouraged by the lack of response. You know, God would say to us this morning, hold on. Bring that message to the next person. The next person might not take the track, the next 5 people might not take the track. You may give the track to the 7th person, and that's a child of God. And they will read that, and God will move in life. You may witness to people you think nobody's listening. You know, that seed might be sown and it may fall into good ground. You might never see that person or hear from that person again. God has used the message that you've delivered to save their souls. You know, maybe in your family they've heard the gospel so many times, and it seems so hard and so uninteresting in it. Never give up. That God can make a way when there seems to be no way, and that God can move. You know, perhaps you have heard this message many times. Maybe you're in the house of God this morning, you're unconverted. You're not saved, you've heard it, and you dismiss the message another time. I'll hear it another time. You know, this isn't really for me. This is not for me just now. You know, you may never hear the message again. You know, very often I think it's something also people who will pass and will hear the gospel and may never hear the gospel again. And that may be the last time they ever hear the gospel to get right with God. And you can be in the house of God and you can be dismissing the message thinking, I'm just waiting for this to finish. Just waiting for this message to finish to go and do other things. You know, you can't dismiss this message. You know, there is a heaven and there is a hell. And it doesn't matter that you're a good person, you live a good life. You need to repent of your sins. That's why Jesus came. That's why he died on the cross. That people, that sinners, would be saved. You must be saved. And you must never think, that one of the things the devil comes, there'll always be another time. There'll always be another time to hear the gospel. It's a good message. It's a good thing. You should think about it, but not right now. Not today. Another time. Because the devil knows if you put it off today, you put it off, and you keep putting it off. Now is the time. Now is the time. Sometimes the message can be distorted. Have you ever got a message wrong? Has somebody given you a message, and you take the message, and you think, I don't really know. So you tell it as you think it is, and you think that wasn't the message. Maybe, and again, these things can range from being very, very important to being not that important. It's important to the person who's telling, but sometimes you say, listen, somebody, you've got to be ready, but the message was, don't get ready just now. When you get ready, you're all dressed, like, I'm ready to go. The message was, we're going to go right now. You can be a bit annoyed. As I say, there can be messages if they're getting wrong. If the message is wrong and wasn't that patient is not to receive any more medication. If that message is that patient is to get his medication, that can have dramatic impacts upon that person. And it's important, as we see it, some messages, they need to be correct. They need to be right. Sometimes the message can get distorted. Sometimes it's intentional. Sometimes it's unintentional. Very often, husband tells me things, and I think, what's that? And then I tell the kids, this is happening, and I think, that was positive. That's what I said. I thought that's what he said. But we see there can be things that are so important. And God's word's important, and God's message is important. It's important that the message is correct. Sometimes people will tell you, God has told me to tell you this. That's a tremendous thing. If God has laid in somebody's heart a message for you, that's a tremendous blessing. You need to be careful that that's correct. They've not got the message wrong. They've not thought that was the message. Many people have been given a message. God's told you to give me a car. You think, I don't know if that's the message. I don't know if that's the right message. Other people have thought this is it. You need to test all of these things by the scriptures. Is it in the word? Does it add up to the scriptures? If somebody tells you something, you think, there's no real scriptures in it. I know there's no real scriptures that says God will give you a car. But you know the premise I'm making. Sometimes people say things and you think, that doesn't add up to the scriptures. They've got the message wrong. The word that God speaks often of false prophets. False prophets who got a message, but it wasn't God's message. But they delivered it like it was the message of God. False shepherds who got messages because it was a message they thought that people wanted to hear. It was a message to please the crowd. It was a message to keep them in a job. It was a message just because they thought, I don't like the message, I'll give this message instead. Some messages are from the devil. Look at the Pharisees as they delivered this message, crucify him. Crucify him. That was the message that they gave to the people. Let's just call for him to be crucified. We see we live in a day where the message is, there is no God. Live any life you want, because there's no God, and there's no consequences, and there's no judgment. Creation, that's it for free. You don't need to believe in any of that stuff. There's no need to repent. There's no cost to repent. You live your life the best you can, and that's the message. Sometimes, sadly, even from churches, the message is distorted. There's no consequences. Everybody's going to heaven. Everybody's going to heaven. God loves. That's the message that God wants you to get. God loves. He loves you in that sin. He loves you in this sin. That's not even a sin. That's the message of God. And if that message is believed by people, then they live their life in sin, thinking that they're going to be delivered. Just like that letter. It's going to arrive. You're going to arrive someday in heaven because you've lived a good life, because you've tried your best, because you've done this or you've done that. You've given this thing up and you've given that thing up. The message is distorted. That's not God's message. That's not the message. The message is, you must repent. Noah could have said to the people, I'm building this boat, but as long as you just try your best, God was not okay. God was angry with the sin of the people. God is angry with sin then as he is today. God will punish sin. God must, because God is just and God is holy. And if we live our lives in sin, and if we live our lives without being born again, then we will face that judgment. And you know, at times God's word, God's message can be a hard message. It can be hard to deliver, it can be hard to hear. But you know, if we obey the message, if we put into practice God's message, then it will end for us in blessing. It might be difficulties, there may be problems, it might mean we have to give things up, it might mean we have to give up our own, what we want to do. But if we obey the message, then God will bless us. You know, we see that if the message is distorted, then there's a problem. You know, when you go to the doctors and you think there's something wrong with you, the doctor has to tell you, he doesn't say, oh, this is bad news, I wouldn't tell you because they don't want to hear this. You know, ultimately, it's not the doctor's message, it's just the facts of what's wrong. And you know, at the end of the day, God's word is still the same. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And God's word is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And at the end of the day, that's the message that people need to hear. I know it's not the message that people want to hear, but it is God's message. You must repent of your sin. You can't think that you'll just live a life being brought in church, coming along to church, that will be good enough. You must repent. Jesus Christ came into this world to save sinners, but those who repent of their sins. And you know, that brings us to the message displayed. You know, as I say, not all messages are written down, not all messages are spoken messages. Sometimes the most powerful messages have no words, they're just images. And you don't even need words, you just look at the picture and you can see from the picture something that words could never convey. You know, sometimes we see pictures of war-torn places, cities that have been decimated by bombing. And amongst all the rubble, there's a child standing in the rubble. You know, you don't need to know who she is. You don't need to know that her parents live. You can tell by the look in the face of that child, in the midst of all of this situation, what's happening in this image. It's delivering to you a message. You know, sometimes we see these children are starving in other parts of the world. You can see the little skeletons lying there. You don't need to know everything about you, just you know from that image what's happening. It doesn't need words. The picture is powerful enough. You know, sometimes there are images of tremendous joy. You know, teams can win trophies, and you can see a picture of the team celebrating. You don't need to go, I wonder what happened. I wonder did they win or did they? You can tell the one. You see a picture of the crowd, and there's people are in tears with joy. The picture displays so words. There's no words needed. You can see it from there. You know, you see people in the Olympics, winning the Olympics, getting their medals. That picture, sometimes a picture just captures the moment, and in that moment you can see it displays a message. So Jesus, as we said, brought the greatest message. He was the message. And he brought this message that although through Adam's sin came into the world, and all its sin, there was a way of salvation. And he was the way that for those who would repent would be saved. You know, for all the words he spoke, you know, when Christ was on that cross, that picture on the cross was the greatest display of love. That God would come and take flesh, would die on the cross for sinners, would die on the cross for his people. And as Jesus hung on that cross, and although it was horrific, the punishment physically that Jesus endured, never mind the spiritual punishment, displayed the greatest love. And there was beauty in that. Even in the midst of the horror, there was beauty. As we see Jesus on the cross, we see what love is. We see real love. And that love, and that image, and that message has changed our lives if we're Christians as well. Because when Jesus died on the cross, he died for us. He took our punishment. When he rose from the dead, our victory was sealed. we were sealed. We were sealed with his precious blood. And that image this morning is an image you need to see. What do you see when you think of the cross? What do you see this morning? Is it just a story? It needs to become more than just a story to you. It needs to become a revelation. That when he was on the cross, that you're a sinner, and your sins put into that cross. You can repent of your sins. You can come to this morning. You can come and repent and be saved. Finally, the message is the same. Sometimes you get a message and you have the message, but you don't know what the message says. Like that, the message is morning. You've got a message and you're reading the message, but you can't work out what the message is actually meant to say. You're trying to read the words before and after it to try and work out, to get the gist of the message. Sometimes people, when you think of during the First and Second World War, there was no communication that we have today. Very often the communication was just by letters that were written and posted. There was pigeons, carrier pigeons that would travel to the front line and travel back with messages of what was happening, of what needed to happen. The fear was that these messages would be intercepted and people would read the message and would know the plan. So they were written in code. There was a code that only people who knew the code would understand the message. So if you got a message, you would have the message. You wouldn't understand what the message actually said. Just because you had it didn't make any difference because you couldn't read the message. What we needed was people who were code breakers. People who could get the code and could decipher what the code actually said. These people were very important during the war because they could work out what the message meant, where the enemy were going to, what the enemy were about to do, what the enemy knew. And once they broke the code, they needed information. And as I say, before we were saved, we had a message. We heard the message. We didn't really mean anything because we knew what it said. We knew that Jesus had died. We knew that he died and people's lives had been changed. But it didn't mean anything. It was just information. The moment that code became a reality to us. That we no longer just heard words. We understood the message because we saw our name in the message. We saw that Jesus died on the cross for sinners. We were one of those sinners. Our name was there. And that all of a sudden opened our eyes to the whole message. Now we could understand what the Word of God is about because we saw it was a reality. It was no longer just a story, it was a reality. The code was deciphered. The Holy Spirit had opened our eyes. The Holy Spirit had showed us our condition. Up until that point, we never really, you may this morning say, well, I know my sinner, and I know I need to be saved. That's the message, but you don't really understand the message. If the Holy Spirit would speak to you this morning, then you would see who you are before God, and you would see the sin before God. And in that moment, you would cry out, what must I do to be saved? And that's what you need this morning. Not just to hear this message from me, but to hear the message from the Holy Ghost. To see this morning the need of salvation. And that's what we pray for this day. We pray that you would see your sins, that you would see the Saviour. The one who hung on that cross, the one who went to the cross and who loved the unlovely and loved them to the end, and who rose from the dead is in heaven this day. You would see not just a story, but a reality. It would no longer just be a story that you've heard in Sunday school, no longer just a story you hear the story, but it would be your story, because you would see yourself in it. And you would see that this morning. We pray that for our nation this day. We pray that the nation would hear the word of God. When we preach, we pray for revival. Many people know the gospel. They know that Jesus went to the cross, know that Jesus died, but they don't believe. They've dismissed that message. For the Holy Spirit and a mighty way would move. Then people would, the message would be equal. They would see, and they would think, and when we look at it, we think, how did we not see it before? It's all great. Nothing of ourselves. It's not because of anything that we have done. It's all of the goodness and the mercy of God. And we pray for that. God, if you're unconverted, would open your eyes. And you would see the message this day. For those of us that are saved this day, that we would remember the message. we remember God loves us. In every situation, God loves us. And in the midst of our trials, in the midst of our difficulties, we hold on to the message that God has delivered us, the promises that God has delivered to us, that we don't let them go. If a message is important to you, you'll hold that message, you'll keep that message. God's message is that He loves us. God's message is He will never leave us, nor will He forsake us. And His message is that He goes to prepare a place for us, that we will be delivered one day to the place that He's going to prepare. Amen. In conclusion, we'll sing